Hey guys, what are you guys doing today? This is Curtis of bullettree.com. I'm enjoying a beautiful gum, and I know I'll have to take it out pretty soon to really get this interview going, or get this video going. Today I just want to mention quickly that for those of us who are in places where winter is really cold and harsh, and have dogs outside, that the winter can really take a toll on your dogs. In many cases, people have lost dogs due to winter's coldness, and winter can be really cruel and bitter, cold. And so, if you have dogs that are outside, it doesn't mean that you love your dogs any less. You're just not in a situation where you can keep them inside. My dogs are inside dogs. They're outside dogs if they want to be. I have a doggy door. They can go through the door and stay outside as long as they want. Sometimes in the winter, when it's really cold, they still go out on my back porch, and there's a spot that's sunny there, up on a box that I have, and they'll go lay on there for hours and hours, and then in the sun, and then they'll come in if they choose to. But one of the things that I've always had, and I've had it for years, that I like to use for my dogs while they're outside. Sometimes I might mop the floor, or I just want them from under my foot for a little bit. You know, my dogs are always under my feet, always stuck up under my feet. Many times I've almost tripped over them. Even last night I was cooking in the kitchen, and they're just sitting right there, and I didn't know she was there, and I just almost tripped over her. You know, they're fantastic companion dogs. And so when I have them outside, and it's really cold, and I do put them outside when it's really cold. You know, just I want to clean the house or whatever, and you know they have fur. I have a doggy house out there. You know, that they can go in if they're really freezing for an hour or two. You know, they won't kill them. They've been a doggy house. My doggy house is, I got beddings and everything in there. They can stay in there for a little bit. I don't really. My dogs are inside babies, but I try to get them used to all these conditions as much as possible. We still go running on a cold day, riding. They pull me in on my bicycle on a cold day. So yeah. But one of the things I've always had is you guys recognize this? It's called a heated pet bowl. This might be heated pet bowl, and I've always had this. This one I have, I've had about 5 of them in the last 10 years or so. Every couple of years I change them. Sometimes my dog would, the puppies would bite it, or but grown dogs don't really mess with it too much. At least my dogs don't, And I believe that there's also metal versions of the heated bowl, and it's simply a water bowl. I use water. I keep it outside when it's cold or when it's freezing. And when they go out, they can drink water if they want to without it having to confront ice. I always have water outside and inside. The inside water is always done first. Sometimes I don't know it's done, and so they go outside. So I like to have a nice bowl of heated water outside on my back porch, which is right outside my back door. And the heated bowl is basically, if you guys haven't seen it before, it's basically a water bowl. This one I would say is about 1.5 gallons. I think it's bigger than a gallon. I think maybe 1.5 gallons. And you plug it into something. In my case, I use an extension cord, an outdoor extension cord. I plug it in, and the water doesn't freeze. It stays at a certain warm temperature. The water doesn't freeze. It's worked excellently for me. My dogs love it. They've come to expect it there, and it's a really good thing for them to have in the winter. Especially if they're cold, a little cold, they can come and drink some warm water, and that really keeps them warm from inside. Just like a cup of hot chocolate or cocoa would do for me, or coffee for some people. It warms you up from inside. So dogs, they're mammals, so they have those feelings too. So get if you want to. And if it's help you any, and if you didn't know it existed, there are heated water bowls that can help your dogs. Sometimes I also put the food in this. I have another one. I sometimes put the food in if it's outside, but I don't leave food too much outside because critters start coming when my dogs are not there and messing around. Mice and rats. Well, not rats that much, but the squirrels and the chipmunks. And the shrews. They start getting into my doggy food. So I don't really want that. But sometimes I do. Like twice every winter. Like for example, if I'm going out for a little bit, and I think it's a good chance for the dogs to be out. You know, I'll lock them out, and I'll put a bowl of food and a bowl of water. But it's always warm, because the winters in Indiana here could be really warm or could be really cold. Last year we had record-setting low temperatures. So if you guys are, you know, don't have this, it's something good to get. It's a heated water bowl, and I would say give it a shot. This one I bought like 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. I paid about $20 for it. It's well worth it. You know, it's not overhyped. It's worth it to have this in your you know, if you have a few dogs, you know, some dogs they will buy this up in 1 day, 1 second, you know, because they're confined and they're frustrated. But if your dogs run around like my dogs and they, you know, they're not into biting the first thing they see, this is a good, you know, this is a good piece of equipment here for your kennel. Okay, so with that said, here's another thing I use it for. So every once in a while, one of my dogs will be licking at her paws. You know, she licks at her paws, and that's always a sign of allergy. Like she's like allergic to something in the grass outside, or you know, in the winter time she's allergic to something out there. So what I do is I use this with the warm water in it, you know, and I wash her feet off before she comes inside. Okay, well, that's another thing that we're going to talk about. You know, I wash her feet off and I dry them off. Not too dry. I try and kind of leave some of the things on her foot so, you know, it can dry into her foot. But I use this sometimes to wash her feet off, you know, with a certain dip, just to get the allergens off of the tips of her feet. Okay, so this could, you know, this could be multi-purpose. I use it for food, I use it for water, and I use it as a foot rinse, if you want to call it that. You know, it works really good. It's a heated bowl. Try and get yourself 1 or 2 or 3. You know, my dogs know when they get this, the water's gonna be warm, and they like that sometimes in the winter. Okay, peace and love. This is Curtis the Bully Tree. Winterize your dogs. You know, if you have dogs outside, get some straw, get a doggy house. You know, get a heat lamp. You know, get a tarp. Try and cover your dogs up as much as you can, because those dogs, believe me, they're cold. They're very cold. You know, if you have 2 dogs, sometimes it helps because they can curl up on each other. But sometimes when you have 1 dog, it's really hard for them. So winterize your kennels. You know, make sure that your dog food doesn't freeze. You know, make sure that your water doesn't freeze. Make sure that you have your kennel probably move it to the south side of your house where there's always more sunlight and more heat. You know, put it up against the side of your house. Do anything you could to keep your dogs warm, because dogs suffer just like we do. I've seen many dogs die because they were cold. People say, oh, dogs have fur and da 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 da, but they die because of heat. They die because of cold, just like we do. They can become overexposed. Take your dog, drop him in a lake with ice and a little water, and see what happens in a few minutes. It will die from exposure to the cold. So they have feelings. They can die too from cold. Don't think that the dogs belong outside. You know, maybe the domestic dog back in the wild dog, the wolf back in the day. But these domesticated dogs we have now, man, they're softer than you and me, some of them, you know. I can't fathom leaving my dogs outside overnight in the winter. You know, I don't know how well they're going to do, especially since they were raised inside, right? So, this is Curtis the Bully Tree. Peace and love. Winterize your kennels. Protect your dogs. You know, supplements might help them. Do whatever you must to protect your dogs this winter. So next spring, you'll have, again, happy dogs and a happy family with you and your dogs, and it'll be all good. Peace. I love you guys, and I hope that you guys have a wonderful day with your family. Go out and enjoy whatever weather that God has provided for us today, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you.